Oh, I'm recording the right mode this time. Alright, hey everyone, my name is Zach Quintanilla, and today I want to cover the Buck Steelmaster 137. Now, the reason for making this video is because I'm having trouble finding any videos on this online. In fact, I don't think there are any videos on this online, which is a shame because this is actually a very nice sharpening / honing steel. There is a difference between the two, but there are signs about this pointing to being also a sharpening kind of situation where it would take off, little bits of metal from a knife. Alright, so let's get down to it. So the Buck Steelmaster was sold in 1974 for about $12, at least according to the Buck catalog, for back then. At least that's what the literature said online. Right now, they're not really too easy to find online. There are sources saying these things are worth about 140, but I honestly cannot believe that something like this would be worth 140. I know it's old, I know it's old tech, I know it's probably had a lot of fans, but considering that there are more modern alternatives that people still make it, like the Buck, like the old timer Home Steel, which I believe is made by Schrade. I think that's their brand. It's sold for about $15 on Amazon. I can't imagine this being worth much more. Now, what makes this thing unique, it's actually unique in a few different ways. One of them, which I like, is the body. Now, a lot of kind of these sort of sharpening steels you see online, they are just kind of like one piece you lay down and rock and or whatever you have and kind of sharpen like that. What's kind of nice about this is that the case for this acts as the handle. And this thing also fits into another leather case, but I do not have it. This was my uncle's before he passed away. I don't think he ever had the steel with it too. He probably found it like a garage sale or something like that. God rest his soul. Now, the case for this is probably one of my favorite components. Now, it's made out of three pieces. This one body, which is about stamped steel, one piece. This pin right here, and this locking mechanism, or locking lever, whatever you want to call it. The main body itself is all pretty well rounded. There's no burrs on this thing. This part's rounded over, so it fits steel very well. The end here is rounded so it doesn't snag on anything. And that's part of the steel right there, just to give you a heads up. That's also not very sharp. The locking mechanism, it's just held in there by friction. I think that's because this piece right here is a little bit of kind of like on a spring tension. It's just kind of pushing outwards against the sides of this the main body, held together by the pin. The locking mechanism is very nice. It's not, I wouldn't say stiff. It's very fluid and kind of easy to move, but that friction there kind of holds it in place, so it's not going to flop around. I don't think it's going to be flopping around anytime soon either, so you can be a little generous about this, move around a whole lot, maybe oil it up. To take the sharpener out, you move this part up, and that disengages this part right here. You don't have to fold it all the way. And you can just kind of shake it out and pinch and pull, or if you want to just kind of make it easier, maybe this thing got stuck in there somehow, a little dirt or whatever, you can kind of use this part right here as a way to push it out a little bit and get a better grip on there and pull it out. To lock it in place, I like to kind of keep it where it's still kind of being held in place right there, so it doesn't really, the back end doesn't move up as opposed to right here. But honestly, that's probably not going to be that's probably a situation that doesn't want to come up too often, because this thing retains it very well. Push down right here, the steel is being pressed up against the main body of this thing, and this thing likes to hold in place. You don't have to keep a lot of pressure on this thing too. Certainly, like you can kind of see this, you're not going to be putting that much pressure on when you sharpen your knife. It's very, very well put in place. But if you need a little more pressure for another use, which I'll kind of get to later, you could just put your finger down on this, and you still don't even need a lot of pressure to hold that thing down. To be honest, that provides a lot of retention right there. Okay, now let's get into the next unique thing about this, which is the sharpening steel itself. Now you can see there, Buck 137, made in the USA. Kind of has a little nicer Buck logo right there. Now, there are a few things that separate this from other Honen steels that I've seen. The main one is that it has this sort of diamond coating, I believe, kind of like you can see on a lapping stone like this. I gotta clean that one out. That's bad. It's not very fine though. I would say maybe around the 600 range, probably less. It's like a utility kind of sharpening sort of situation. You know, you're not gonna reprofile a blade, but at the same time, this could not. I feel like this could knock out quite a bit. And same for the edges though. The edges would actually, you know what? The edges here are, they're rounded. This could be good for sharpening heavy serrations or something like that. That's what I can kind of see this as, or maybe for sharpening, curved blades, maybe like a linoleum knife, certain skinning knives, certainly, or like a little karambit. If you're into that kind of thing, I kind of grew out of that. The back here is a little bit similar to a lot of honing stones in the market. Now, this is kind of like where it's very similar. This texture right here, it's very long and kind of grainy, almost like you took like a soft steel to like a wire wheel, and it just kind of kept hitting parallel directions. But this obviously pretty hard, good steel. You can kind of see like what I mean right there. Now, this part, I believe, according to a lot of literature and a lot of videos, thank you, Survival on Purpose. Watch his. I'll link his review down below to the old timer honing steel. This part is probably the honing portion of the thing, though I could imagine you probably could take off a good bit of steel if you run it that way. But this the honing part where you go reverse on with your blade, and that'll help him to align all the a little bit of dirt there. Sorry, this is my little workbench. That could help align any sort of burrs or the the microscopic kind of edge on your knife to help keep it razor sharp and straight. Another thing that what this has that a lot of other honing steels in the market have is like a weird kind of beveled edge right here. Now you can tell right here there is a a somewhat decent sharp kind of bevel going this way and a smaller bevel going that way. This is not sharp at all. You can't cut yourself. You can kind of snag yourself a little bit, but you can't cut yourself or do any damage. Now, what they said that end is for, according to some literature, and kind of basing off the model of the old timers, that this is for wedging into deer femurs or bones and splitting it open. Now, I have never been hunting for deer, at least, though I would like to in the future. But I really can't imagine someone using this kind of thing for deer femurs. I know my uncle kind of was into arrow making, kind of didn't make stuff out of deer bone, but again, you probably just want to use a knife if you're out and about kind of doing this. Maybe you could use it as a backup if your knife fell in a volcano or something like that. I can't see why. Although I'm not sure how effective this would be, since maybe use it as a wedge, kind of like as a pry tool, kind of like as a maul almost. The old timer hone has a little bit more of a sharper kind of angle, a little bit more beveled. Just decrease the angle there. And that's kind of the unique part, and that's why I do like this a lot actually, because just having this portion right here, it almost turns into it removes it from being a stone and kind of turns it into being just an actual sharpening steel. And what I like about this, compared to the old timer, is that this has like a little metal body, so you could grab it with your whole hand, hold that in place, and just kind of sharpen that way. And if you want to keep the blade stationary and sharpen like that, I know that's not the right angle, you could, which is also a nice component of this. The old timer has like a leather case that also doubles as the handle as like two pieces of flap that kind of fold over and go through a little hole in the sharpening steel to kind of act as like a faux handle. Not full handle, as a little good place to pinch and grab and use as a handle. I just kind of like this version better. Now, before anyone asks, I am not selling this. This is gonna be mine. It's gonna be mine for a while. I'll probably keep it in my pack as like a backup. Well, not a backup, as my sharpening thing in case my knife gets a little dull out when I'm camping or whatever. So that's gonna be a primary use. Like I said before, I really did want to document this sharpening the honing steel because I don't see any videos on this. And it would be nice if anyone in the comments down below has it. Maybe they found it in their uncle's thing or their grandfather's thing, or if you're like, if you bought this yourself and you've been using it for a while, I would love to hear everyone's kind of opinion about this, what they liked about that, what good stories, good other uses for it. I'd love to see if that end there comes in handy. And yeah, that's really what it boils down to. I just want to preserve something like this so we can learn about it. So maybe use like the mechanism somewhere else. I don't know. Just good thing to review and keep in mind something like this kind of existed already. Once again, leave a comment down below about what you think. And I'll see you sometime soon. Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye, everybody.